maybe you could each tell us a little bit about your relationship with the whole Exorcist world before this. I mean, if you had seen the movie and if you had preconceived notions going into this about what it might be like.
Right. Has she already?
I haven't answered that one yet.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to?
No, whatever you want.
Yes, I had seen the movie. I thought it was terrifying. Not something I ever thought I would then be a part of so many years later. So it's exciting to get to do that. But I don't even think this is a show where you have to believe in exorcisms to enjoy it, because there's so much else going on, like the family dynamic and got a lot happening.
Yes. Yeah, but if you haven't seen that movie, I mean, well, then I'm recommending that people get scarred for life from seeing the scariest movie of all time. But yeah, I saw it when I was a teenager and had no clue what I was going to see, and absolutely just traumatized forever, in a good way. So when the script came along and the opportunity came along, it says The Exorcist on it. I'm like, holy crap! This is exciting, but also I was thrilled to see that it's not a remake. Although it honors that movie, and the plot includes hints that it's the same world where that actually did happen. Like when the priest looks up on the newspaper and sees a shot of the stairs. And so I love that element of it, and I know that fans of the movie are already really loving the show, which is great.
I used to think the scariest thing in the world would be to be possessed, because you'd have no control over it. But now that I'm a parent, I think seeing your child possessed would be even worse. So, I mean, like, that's such a really, something I think anybody could connect to. So is that something that appealed to you, playing with that idea that something outside of you could be even more terrifying than it happening to you?
Yeah, I'm a parent too, and yes, I think we all sort of feel like much worse to have something horrible happen to your kid than to yourself, and this is like just an extremely exaggerated version of an illness or an accident or something really devastating happening in your family, and it's just taken to the furthest possible degree, and also something you cannot control. How do you fight against this? So yeah, I think it's fabulous stuff.
Do you guys believe in it? Do you guys believe in Satan?
Well, here's the thing. No, I have learned a little bit about what's the criteria for an exorcism, because I was always thinking, how does the church decide? Because it's a real rite at the Catholic Church. How do they decide that this person needs an exorcism rather than a psychiatrist? And I thought that's a tricky line, but they have very, very specific criteria, like the person has to speak in a foreign language that they don't know, like Aramaic or something. I mean, that would sell me. If somebody started talking in Aramaic, they have to have superhuman strength. There's a few different things. So, with that in mind, if they're finding people
out there, they are
out there that have those symptoms,
it's hard to explain otherwise.
I'm saying, better do an exorcism.
You know who to call.
Might be needed. Yeah.
Actually, there is a lack of them in Italy, and they're looking for new exorcists in the church.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. There was a big article a few days ago in the paper.
Interesting.
Because a big exorcist died.
Yeah.
So now they're looking for other people.
Be the next one in line.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they don't have basements full of children like they did with Father Marcus, and they just pulled them off the street.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And what was the challenge to shoot this? What was the challenge?
I think it's challenging to make it it's a very cinematic show. So it's and that takes a lot of time to get that aesthetically. So that's definitely been a challenge, but it keeps paying off.
Yeah.
And so much of that helps with the tension that's building. A lot of it is the camera movement and the lighting, and it's so crucial to helping tell the story.
Right, yeah. I think each episode looks like a movie, and it's very exciting to be part of something with that kind of quality.
You had mentioned before the family dynamic, and can you talk about grounding this really human story in this crazy world?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of what will make it effective and makes it work and be so scary, is because we have to portray a real family with a real crisis going on, and the dynamics between us of what happens, who approves of calling in priests and who doesn't, and it's a lot to navigate in some really big scale, while at the same time it's just this little family that it's happening to.
And they did a good job, I think, making us a grounded family that I think people at home will be able to relate to, because we have, I think, probably a common mother-daughter relationship where we don't get along all the time, but I think I get that from her, like I think my character gets her, she's stubborn and feisty, she gets it from her mom.
Right.
Navigating each other, and everyone has a different relationship with the dad and the sister.
Right.
What's in the world is good for you, and what's evil for you?
What in the world is good to me and what is evil?
It's a big one, I know. You can say Trump.
You can say Trump.
No,
He's
you
giving
cannot.
you. Oh, you can't? Oh, then never mind.
If Trump is eliminated, well, then what am I supposed to say? I don't know.
That's a tough one.
That's tough. I don't know.
What would you like to see more? What would you like to see less?
Let's see. More tolerance and acceptance, and leave people alone. Let people be how they want to be, and just less judgment constantly of other people. Other people are fine, whatever way they are, they're fine, and we have to behave more like a family. We're a global population now. We've got to get with the 21st century. I can't stand all the backsliding.
Yeah, we're all connected.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Good answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Scaring the hell out of everybody.
Perfect. Every time I see someone on Twitter saying that, I had nightmares and I couldn't fall asleep, I'm like, yes, we won.
My husband works nights, and I won't watch it when he's
Yeah, no, our ratings, like if you look at the nightly ratings, it's like, this show's in trouble. But then if you look at the 3-day ratings, we're actually one of the more successful shows of the new year. And I think a lot of it is because people don't want to watch a scary show before they go to bed, and so everyone is DVRing it and watching it on Saturday mornings. But we'll take viewers however we can get them. If you don't want to watch it live, you can watch it in the daylight. I won't judge anyone.
And there are lamps for those people.
There are lamps too.
The Exorcist is like something that's iconic to everyone, and I think every age group has seen it at least once in their lives. So how do you come in and like create this show that's different? You're turning it into something else. How did you think about approaching it before you dug in?
When they were originally looking for a writer, the original plan was to remake the same story because they had the rights to William Peter Blatty's novel, and I came in and begged them not to do that. I said, "You are never going to tell that story better than the original film did." Excuse me, but I said the appeal, the advantage that you guys have been given is you have this great title, you have the name recognition, people will tune in. So you can tell a brand new story with brand new characters, set it in the same world, the same basic universe, so that you're not writing the original event story out of existence. You're not saying it never happened. It's just kind of a continuation in the same universe. And it's the chance to tell a psychological thriller over the course of 10 hours, where as a feature writer, you're usually limited to 80 to 90 minutes to kind of introduce you to these characters and make you care about them. And here we can spend 3 months getting to love this family and these priests and genuinely caring whether this girl is saved or killed. It just felt like the potential was there to really not just scare people, because scaring people is a lot of fun, but it's also easy. But if you can make people cry, if you can make people care about this family, if you can get them invested in the serialized kind of soap opera aspects of the show, that's how you can create a show that can run for multiple years and isn't just sort of a one season, one and done. So that was kind of the appeal for me going there.
Is there, are you looking ahead to future seasons, and is it possible that this will turn into an anthology series where you're looking at a different family every season?
It's not going to be an anthology series in the sense that we would like recast characters. It's definitely not American Horror Story. I think if we're lucky enough to get a second season, you'll definitely see the surviving characters from season 1 going forward and having new adventures. But season 1 was always designed as a single case with a beginning, middle, and an end. So by the end of these first 10 episodes, you will get a definitive answer to the possession of Casey Rance. That story will conclude, and our characters will go forward. And my goal would be for every season to kind of be structured around one sort of central case, while you're sort of building in a larger mythology on the sides. And you've already seen little glimpses of that in episodes 1 and 2, and you're going to start to see a lot more. But we're building in our own sort of Dharma initiative, our own kind of set of bad guys who are. The demons are here among us, and they have their own agenda, and they have their own goal, and they're working towards something. So hopefully that's what helps give this show legs, so that it's not every season is just another possessed person and the priest's coming in to help them. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of this first season, you'll know exactly what the Exorcist show is, and be excited to follow it in future seasons.
Do you believe in evil and good?
I do. I mean, look, I'm a born skeptic. I'm not easily convinced, but at the same time, we did a lot of research on this pilot. We brought in actual Catholic priests who had performed exorcisms, who all kind of spoke with us off the record and told us some of the things they had experienced. And these guys didn't seem like storytellers. They didn't seem like people who had any reason to exaggerate this. And the stories they told were genuinely chilling, which just kind of make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And yeah, it doesn't matter how skeptical you are. I think the deeper you dive into these case studies and these stories about families who live through these experiences, it becomes really hard to explain them all away. So I don't know where I ultimately land on the spectrum, but I'm definitely less skeptical than I was when I started the project.
By episode 3, Casey's possession, the portrayal of it goes pretty dark.
Yeah.
For her as an actress and for the character in general, how much darker is that going to get? I mean, that's only 3 episodes in.
Poor little Hannah. She's going to go. We're putting that girl through the paces this season. Yeah, look, she is a trooper though, and she is delivering on everything we ever ask her to do. But yeah, the episodes 1 and 2 were very much kind of a slow burn by design, because the demon's playing possum. It's hiding, and in tomorrow's episode, the one that's screening at the panel today, you're going to see the demon kind of manifesting for the first time, and innocent people getting caught in the crossfire, and this demon's no longer sort of hiding. So. Not tomorrow's episode, but next week's episode, you're going to see medical science come in and start trying to explain what could possibly be happening to Casey. And I'll give you a spoiler right now: medical science does not manage to cure Casey. And by the time we get to episode 5 on October 21st, 5 is kind of our big mid-season hiatus episode, because we're taking a week off after that for the World Series. But 5 is a giant episode. It's by far the biggest thing we've done, and it's almost an exorcism in real time. So you will see the exorcism really begin, I think, a lot faster than audiences are expecting. If you were expecting us to sort of drag this story out for 9 episodes and then get to the exorcism in the finale, I think you're going to be really surprised, because we have a lot of story to tell this year, and we're trying to be really aggressive with our plot twists and our surprises, and always kind of trying to stay one step ahead of viewers and give them something fun to talk about the next day.
Did you have any actors in mind? Did you cast this in your head? ahead of time, or did you?
We did, but the reality is the actors we had in mind, the parts changed so much. We knew for Father Marcus and Tomas that we wanted discoveries. I didn't want guys that you had seen on NCIS for the last 8 years, where it's just I wanted them to feel fresh so that they're not bringing any sort of baggage, and they could kind of just be those characters. And we knew we also needed a star in there so that Fox could market it, and that's where the wonderful Geena Davis came in, and there is no one better, and there is no one more fun to be on stage with. And so we drove Fox nuts because we saw thousands of actors, just endless audition tapes. We looked at everyone in town, plus everyone in England, and we were really, really picky about wanting to find the right guys and not settle for less. And look, you've seen them. Alfonso and Ben are pretty awesome. It's so great for me just as a fan seeing Geena Davis back on TV and getting to watch her every single week. Brianne and Hannah, the daughters, they bring so much heart and so much honesty to the roles. So I really feel blessed with the actors that we have. I can't imagine a better group of people.
It really seems to work because you do care about the characters as a viewer. I mean, it's not just all flash.
Yeah, no, my secret goal from the beginning was to smuggle a family drama onto TV, and because the reality is that if your show is if it's just gore, if it's just one horse sequence after another, I think audiences tune out and it becomes very niche. And if you don't care about the characters, you don't come back week after week. The reason The Walking Dead is the biggest show on TV isn't because of the gore gags. Because my parents watch The Walking Dead and they don't like horror movies. They don't like gore. It's the soap opera aspect of I've grown to love these characters over 6 years, and I want to see who lives and who dies and who finds redemption and who finds happiness. That's the thing that gets you tuning in week after week as an audience member. And so our responsibility is to deliver those big scares and to be true to the Exorcist name, but at the end of the day, if you don't care about this family, if you don't care about the priests, why are you watching the show?